Good morning! Welcome to today's vlog. I don't know how long it's gonna be, but I do know that it's gonna be this little like snapshot in life. Today is Monday, and this week I only work Monday and Tuesday before taking off for the holidays, which I'm so super excited for. If you don't know me, hello, my name is Anna. Welcome, welcome. But last year, I feel like I talk about this all the time. Last year I worked like all of the days surrounding Christmas, and it was this crazy wild time where I was just like here by myself for Christmas. But this year, I actually get PTO and time off around the holidays, and so that's what's coming up this week. It's my time off around the holidays. I'm really interested how just working Monday and Tuesday is gonna go because I'm only taking, because I've never taken this many days off in a row yet before, but I'm a medical social worker working at a children's hospital, and the things that I know I've got going on in the 2 days that I work this week is honestly not that much. Today I have a family meeting at 9:30, which I don't think it's gonna be a long one. I think it's gonna be a pretty short one. I always find a reason to stress and have anxiety though, and so today's source of stress and anxiety is the fact that we're doing like a call version of the meeting. So I'll physically be with one parent, and then the other parent's gonna call, and the doctor's gonna call in, and so literally just like having the numbers to dial into our little like Zoom call is what's stressing me out today. I'm like, oh, what if the speakerphone quality is bad? Like, there are bigger fish to fry in this world, Anna. But that genuinely is what's making me anxious today. But I guess the good thing is that since it's at 9:30, then it's like then it's done. It's done early in the morning. I'll have rounds at 10:15 today, which is when we get updates on like patient conditions and what's going on, what kind of medicines they're on, what kind of respiratory support they're on, if there's any like surgeries coming up, that kind of thing is what we learn at 10:15. And then I guess my goal for the next 2 days is just to make sure to touch base with every single one of my families since I'm about to be gone for so long, just to identify if there's going to be, identify to the best of my knowledge, if there's going to be any needs while I'm gone, so then I can communicate that with my coworkers or just try to take care of them now. But since I am coming in off a weekend, there is often lots of turnover over the weekend of like people discharging or new people coming in, and so definitely Monday mornings are one where I like sit at the computer, figure out everything that's gone on in the day, figure out everything that's gone on over the weekend, which can then really shape what my day looks like. And so I have a general idea, but I also could arrive at work and it's all different than what I thought it would be. At some point today, I'm gonna get a call because we actually dropped my car off yesterday. It has its appointment today, but I dropped the keys off yesterday because my car, it needs someone to look at it. That's what it needs. Like, it's been a while since I've needed maintenance on it, but I mean, just for funsies, so you know. The check engine light came on close to Thanksgiving, like a couple weeks ago at this point now. And then it started shaking a lot, especially whenever it like idles, like whenever, you turn on the car and you're not going anywhere, you stop at a stoplight or something, it's shaking. And then also I don't know if it's the transmission or what it is, but the tachometer, I looked up what that was. The little dial next to the speedometer that goes up and shows like the number of RPMs whenever you're accelerating and stuff. It's been going so high and like not downshifting. And so I'm like, So I've been like sorry, there's like a hair in my eye. I've been able to drive it. It hasn't been like undrivable, but I feel like it's been working way too hard for what it should be. And so that's always in the gamble of like, they're either gonna call me and be like, oh, we just had to like top off this fluid and now you're good. Or they're gonna call me and be like, that's gonna be $1,500 and 3 weeks worth of work. And I'm gonna be like, okay, but that's another thing. It's not necessarily bringing me anxiety. It's more just like bringing me this sense of impending doom, I'm not stressed about it. I just know the doom is coming. I need to walk to work though. So like I said, welcome to this vlog, this little snapshot of life. This should be a fun one, maybe, theoretically. Hope you're having a great day.
Oh, Christmas tree, thy leaves are so unchanging.
Whoa. Is that a bus or just a regular car?
Bus.
Gotcha. You'll make it. Did you just leave?
Yeah. I had a hard deadline of leaving at 3:40.
How did that work for you? You did not leave at 3:40.
Not leaving.
I was running around like all day today. I was like barely getting all my notes in, and then it was like 4:20 whenever Dad called. And so then I was like on the phone, and then I was like clocked out and left. So in my head, like since I didn't do my whole like end of the day, like make sure everything's set, like settled all together. I feel like haphazard, but go in tomorrow, whatever happens, happens tomorrow, and then out of here. She gone. I fully started the video because I was going to talk to you, so I apologize for leaving you for that. But I feel like you got part of my updates from the day now already. As I said, I was kind of running around today because, like I said, I was trying to get kind of just like seeing all of my people before I'm gone. And so the meeting this morning that I was anxious about went totally fine, went just fine. Like I knew it would. It just like still made me anxious, you know? And then I feel like it was lots of like sitting down and talking, kind of like my longer term families since I won't be here for the next week or so. So just making the like most recent touch base with them that I can. A couple introductions, a couple consults, a couple people discharging, and then I had the rounds like I told you at 10, 15. We had our like little social work huddle, which is the word for like cute little meeting that's not an official meeting, at 11:30. And then at 1:30 I had like our social work peer review group, which is group supervision. So talking about like challenging cases, peer support, that kind of thing. That was from 1:30 to 2:30. So it was like all of the things I was doing, but fit between those like couple hour apart things going on. I don't know. It wasn't bad, but kind of like I said on the phone, I got a phone call right when I was like just about to clock out, but still kind of finishing things up to where I didn't like sit down and do. I usually just like towards the end of the day run through my census, make sure I typed a note for everyone I saw so I get credit for seeing them, see if I need to update anything in the chart or send handoffs to people or just kind of do like the closing shift for the working day. I didn't do that today. So not that means I missed anything, but it just means like my brain's little shade did not shut down the work portion. I'm gonna make dinner. I don't know what I'm gonna do tonight. I feel like I should go work out. Emphasis on the like maybe should, but I don't know if I actually will. Dinner tonight is just gonna be pasta. That's what we did last night just because it was weird. Zach went grocery shopping on Sunday, but just for Monday and Tuesday. So we were like, oh, I don't know what to plan for that. So I will just do pasta and red sauce and meat and vegetables each of those days. I feel like I had more things. I know what it was. I was gonna tell you about my car because that's actually a very interesting thing going on and a 4-digit check that I'll be dropping. I'm gonna make dinner first though, and then as I'm eating dinner, we can talk about that. I know that it quite literally looks the exact same probably to you. Maybe you can tell. I did clean this room or like tidy up this room over the weekend, and I feel like it makes such a big difference as far as like walking in and just not having a mess everywhere. And what I didn't do was actually like get rid of the things that were just kind of sitting around, but I did just make them more out of sight and harder to see, which I feel like made a very big difference. But anyways, back to my car. As I talked about this morning, I had to bring it in. I really trust the place that I go to in Atlanta, which I feel very lucky for because I feel like car places, you just always feel like they're ripping you off unless it's a place you can trust. And I feel like I trust this place. They've done like great work on my car before in the times that it has needed it. It's been a little second since I've had like actual significant need to pay type maintenance done. I did, if you remember, take my car in back in September, I think it was, because it just had like some weird thing going in the electrical system and just had to be like reset, reoriented. So that was like $150, which I don't love dropping that, but it's not like a hefty fee. This one though, once it's ready for me to pick up, what happened, and I'll put a picture on the screen so you can see, is that some little rodent, whether a mouse or a squirrel or a rat or something, chewed through some of the wires to the spark plugs on my car. And you can literally see like they chewed straight through them. And what is crazy to me, I feel like I don't hear about this happening to that many people's cars. Like it doesn't feel that common. But back in college, I was like getting an oil change and they just noticed that there were like some chew marks on some of the same wires, but it didn't affect the functioning of the wire. And so they're like, we're gonna go ahead and like reinforce these with strong tape just to like make them less easy to chew. And I was like, oh, perfect. And at that time they were like, do you park close to a field? And I did, from where I was living at Alabama. And so they were like, yeah, it probably is just like some field mice that just like got in there and started chewing. So I totally had forgotten about that happening. Like I hardly thought twice about it. Didn't happen again, didn't have any problems again until now when the entire tape and wire is entirely chewed through. And I asked him if there was anything to do to like prevent it. And I think I'm gonna Google too to see if there's like a reason why other people this doesn't happen to and me it does happen to. He said that there were like quite a few acorns that were also under my hood. And he asked like, do you park next to a tree that drops a lot of acorns? And like, yeah, pretty much there's just so many trees around, which is a blessing. Love a tree, but definitely means a lot of acorns. And he was like, chances are something just looking for some acorns came on inside. And he was like, it could be a mouse. It might be a squirrel. It most likely was a mouse. But he was like, honestly, it kind of looks like the chomping was a little bit bigger. And then what freaks me out is I have seen a rat. Not like close to our building at all, like not close to where we live, but closer to where we park. There's like kind of a nature area, and I've seen a rat crawling along the like, what's it called? The little retaining wall. Only at night, only ever have I seen this huge rat. And in my head now I'm like, it's the freaking rat. Like the rat got into my car and chewed up my wires. Even though honestly, I think this rat is like so big that I don't actually think it was that. But I need to find whichever small rodent it was that did chew up my wires so that I can invoice them for the expenses. But so basically, what I'm ending up getting is paying for the diagnostic time, paying for 2 spark plugs to get replaced, and so both parts and labor. He's cleaning something. I forget now what he's cleaning. It has something to do with the spark plugs, and it's something to do with the high mileage. It's something to do with the, if we're getting new parts, we want to make sure they work the best they can. We're doing that. And then just like coincidentally, how my brake light went out. It was like 2 days ago that a brake light, I started getting notified, like brake bulb fault. And apparently it's not just that the bulb went out, it is like actually something went wrong in signaling the brake light to turn on. And it's like the middle, you know, like there's 2 and then the middle one, it's the middle one. So I was like, I don't know if that's like necessary, but I was like, I'm already getting everything else done, so I might as well just do that too. It's gonna be over $1,000 after parts and labor and taxes. It's gonna be over $1,000. And this was something, I made a vlog clip about it in a vlog that I ended up scrapping. But whenever my car started acting so funny and it was like shaking and everything and I didn't know what was happening to it yet, it has always been my thought of like, I just get my car fixed and then that's it. And Zach brought up the point of eventually, if I wanted to, like I'm a grown adult with a full-time job and a full-time salary now, like I could eventually get a new car if I wanted to, or even like a new used car, but newer than my current car, which is just like not something that has ever occurred to me yet. And I'm definitely not thinking it would be like soon necessarily, especially because I hardly drive right now since I get to use public transportation for commutes. But it did get me like a little excited, starting to look into like what maybe would my future car be, like what would I maybe want to get, kind of start researching and everything. And I have like a couple that I have my eye on, like a couple models that I have my eye on, not specific cars because I'm not actually looking right now. But my current car that I have, I got in 2018 when I was 18 years old. I bought it used for like $7,500, which was a fortune. Like that was so expensive, so much it felt like, but it was a really good deal. I got it for $7,500. It had just like exactly 100,000 miles on it at the time, which again, I was like, oh my gosh, this is brand new. Like there's no mileage on this. Because I guess for context, sit down, grab your tea. We're going deep into it. When I was 16, but not like when I turned 16, when I was like 16 and a half, like those 6 months were the longest of my life ever. It's like not having a car, but having my license. 16 and a half, I got my first car for $1,000 and it was a 2001 Chevy Impala. It was gold. It had like 250,000 miles on it when I got it. It had seen finer days. It had seen finer days, but it was my first car ever and that was cute. For a while, I drove a Honda Civic and these kind of overlapped because my car was like not doing so great. Drove a Honda Civic Hybrid. That was like a 2011, I think, or something like that, and 130,000 miles that my dad had gotten, but I just like got to drive it until I totaled it. The day before my 18th birthday, actually. It was like a little happy birthday to me. It literally was like I was having friends over that night to celebrate my birthday and I got in a car crash and it's like totaled on the side of the road. It was my fault. I rear-ended somebody, but then it was like I went from that to having friends over and like for a while I was like, I just want to cancel it. Like I don't want anyone to come over, but it ended up being sweet and ended up being cute, even though I was fine. The airbags went off, which is ultimately what kind of totaled it because the cost to get those like put back in, I guess, was high. But like I had my sternum from the airbag was like a little bit injured to where it could heal. And then I just had like a seatbelt shaped bruise, but ultimately it was fine. The car that I hit was fine. They hardly even had a dent, which was crazy. Lucky for them, but crazy. Lucky for me, but crazy. And then I remember at work the next day at my little grocery store job, it must not have been the next day, a few days later, someone was like, oh, were you crying on the side of Scott Boulevard the other day? And I was like, yeah. And that seems like not something to bring up to people. If you see me crying on the side of the road, don't talk about it. But anyways, that was that car. And it was like after that car was totaled, then I went back to driving my Chevy Impala because we still had it, but I think it was like it needed some work done before it could be driven. And so it was like, then that was the like, okay, I guess we'll pour more money into this car, get the work done. Sold it before I went to college though. Spent my first semester at college without a car. I feel like at Alabama, you kind of need a car if you're going anywhere off of campus. Like I kind of wish I had one for that first semester. Not required, but it would have been nice to have it. But then Thanksgiving break of my freshman year is when I bought the current car that I have, which I already told you all about. There's my life story in cars, brought to you by small freaking rodent that chewed through my spark plugs. And trust, you will be dealt with. In the past, whenever I've gone to pick up my car, they haven't necessarily folded up the bill like this, but I feel like they don't want me flashing around what I paid today, which final total $1,308.40. Do I need to say it again for you? Goodness gracious. Yeah, so I will be eating rice and beans for the rest of my life. Just kidding. Let me be real here. In the past, and I've spoken about this before on the channel, car anxiety was like maybe one of my strongest forms of a child just raced by was one of my strongest forms of anxiety, but it was a lot because I knew that if my car needed maintenance, like it would take me down financially, like it would just spit. And so I feel very grateful to have reached a point where now like I am working and I have fun and I can actually manage to pay for things like this if they come along. I mean, hopefully they don't come along all too often, you know. I don't just like I don't have it quite like that, but since finances are a thing that I think worry a lot of social work students with fair, because honestly it can worry like every student, especially when you don't know what your future holds. If it gives you like any kind of encouragement at all, just know that honestly for this charge, like I'm not even having to dip into savings because a paycheck can cover it, and that's okay. Especially because December is a 3 paycheck month, which we do love. That's why a paycheck can cover it. So though I be dramatic about this, because I obviously prefer of it not to happen, prefer for a little squirrel not to. They did confirm that they think it's a squirrel based on the droppings that they saw. I would prefer for it not to do all of that, but it's not like taking me under, you know, which I think is an important thing to point out. And it drives so nice now. Whenever I was driving home, I was like, ooh, why was I talking about getting a new car? No new car for me. I drive this forever. I drive this to the ground. Sorry. I'm sorry to have said all of that, sir. I got a lot done at work today, and then to the point to where the afternoon ended up being kind of slow, but that was the goal because I wanted to be able to have everything wrapped up before being gone for the longest chunk of time that I'll have been gone from this workplace ever, which is kind of wild. It's already weird thinking about like when I do come back, just like everything that can happen in that time, you know, because it can be a lot. But the important part of PTO and of holidays is to not think about that while I'm gone. And so I completed 2 psychosocial assessments today. I sat and supported quite a few families. I called families who I hadn't talked to recently. So did a lot of things that I wanted to get done before I was gone, which was perfect. Ate a lot of sweets. Oh my gosh. Workplace environments and people bringing in sweets for the holiday season. I mean, it's wonderful. And also like if you put cannoli dip in front of me, of course I'm going to be eating it. A lot of it. And it was really good. But now all of that is behind us and we are shifting forward into the new era, which is getting ready to leave for home, which I'm so excited for. As someone, and this is something that I also have been talking about way too much, but as someone who was here by themselves alone for Christmas working last year, I am heading home for Christmas. My flight is at 3:09 tomorrow. And so honestly, with like the Christmas happenings at the airport, I'm probably gonna get there 3 hours early. I feel like that's usually what I do anyway. Maybe I usually do 2. I'm gonna try to get there 3 hours early though. And so I wanna get as packed as I can tonight, get things as ready as I can tonight, maybe go work out tonight. I don't know. But whatever I do, I'm $1,300 lighter. I feel like this morning is so much of like trying to figure out timing, which my flight is not until 3. So I feel like that means that I should have a lot of time, but just with holiday travel and trying to get to the airport early and everything, I think I've decided I'm gonna try to leave here around 11:30 in order to like drive, make it to the airport and just have extra time there. Zach left, as you saw, about an hour ago or so, and he said that security didn't look bad when he was there, but the lines to like check a bag were very long, which I am checking a bag and he wasn't, so mine will be a little bit longer than his was. But I feel like for having a flight at 3, I should not feel like I don't have time today. So I'm trying to like remind myself like, oh, you still have, like it's 8:17, so I still have 3 hours and 15 minutes. But part of me keeps being like, oh no, like I can't do anything. I have to be ready, I have to be ready. I did just film, which I'm very excited about, the first video of a little series that I've decided that I'll be doing where I'm gonna post every day from, I believe, December 28th will be the first day until a week from then. As we know, I did not do Vlogmas. I cannot pull that off, but I feel like it's common for like at the end of December to kind of have a lag in YouTube content a little bit because people do Vlogmas and then like it ends at the holidays and then like you kind of get re-going in the new year. And I know that that last week of the year often just feels strange. And so I was like, I could do a little challenge for myself. And I'm gonna be posting, like I said, daily for 7 days. I don't know yet if I'm gonna try to come up with like a name for the series. I don't know what it would be. Part of me was like, Happy Bee Year, because Anna Bee. But I think that I need to keep thinking on that. Because I feel like it'd be so fun to like have it be like a little series name. And I don't know yet how I'm gonna announce it. Maybe like day after Christmas or something, I'll announce it. Other than you seeing this now, hello. But I have several plans of videos to do and we'll also kind of like daily vlog a little bit for that week. I mean, maybe if it's just so fun and great, can continue beyond that. But I don't want to make that promise yet without having done that. But like I said, I filmed the first one for that, which I'm kind of glad that I just went ahead and got it done today, because what I was going to do was go work out and then come back, get ready and film it. But since I just felt like I just really want that filmed, I'm glad to have it done now, because now I can eat. I'll make coffee in just a little second. It's like sit, eat, drink. I'm not in a rush. Then go work out, then come back. I unpacked, I'll show you when I'm not having to supervise eggs on the stove, but I unpacked my carry-on, which the majority of which is gifts, since they take up quite a lot of room since they're in like shoebox sized boxes. And then I'm also packing like running shoes because I'm gonna have to run when I'm at home. And then clothes, which I feel like is hard because I don't really know like everything I'm doing. Like I don't know yet what I'm gonna want to wear. And so that's why I hate packing clothes. Like, oh, I'll just bring like every sweater I own and like every pair of jeans that I would wear. And then when I get there, we can see what I actually want to wear. The things that I'm excited for though are seeing my dogs. Seeing my dogs. What's gonna be a little bit weird is that whenever I went home in May for my little sister's high school graduation, we were still in the house that I grew up in. However, since then, my mom has sold that house, moved out, and moved into a new house. And so this is the first time that I'm going home, not going to my childhood home, but it'll be fun to see the new house where they're living. Heavy emphasis on the dogs again. Very excited for them as well. Alright, worked out, showered, got dressed and ready for the airport. I'm at just over an hour before I'm gonna be leaving. And I kind of feel like, I don't know, I kind of feel like if I reach a point of just being ready, then I'll just go. Since I'm not like so super stressed, but I'm just not trying to miss any kind of flight today. I still have to pack toiletries, but that's pretty much it left. And then I feel like no matter what I look like when I show up to the airport, I just always end up, airport air just like does something to me. That I do not appreciate. And I'm having to figure out too, because my face wash is too big to bring. I'm gonna check a bag on the way there, but then Zach's keeping that bag, and so I'm not gonna check one on the way back. So I'm trying not to have any of my toiletries be to where I can't bring them back with me. But yes, all that being said, I feel like airport air does something to make me look disgusting no matter what I do to myself before I get there. But that being said, I would prefer to start at a little higher rank than I maybe could, just so I have the best chance of not being a total butt cheek. My sunscreen's too big to bring, but I can bring this one. Making myself a little pile over there. Don't need to bring toothpaste. Just use mom's when I get there. I know I've already talked about it probably like 5 minutes ago for you, but the fact that I spent Christmas alone here last year, I know, huge shock. No one's ever heard me say that before. I think while I was doing it last year, I like wasn't that sad about it because it just like didn't feel like Christmas. And I'm also sure that part of that was just like a defense mechanism. Like I think that I feel more sad now thinking about myself last year, having just spent Christmas working and by myself here, than I did when I was actually like going through it. And I think because I feel that way is part of why I'm so excited to be home. I'm bringing several books with me, at least for the travel day. And then I guess if I have chill time while I'm at home too. I feel like I did not just do that well, considering there's that little thing sticking out, but you win some, you lose a lot, right? But that being said, my excitement level is that of 2 Christmases. Zach's flight is getting ready to take off, like almost now. People who follow closely know this already, but in case you don't, Zach and I are both from the same hometown. Like we're literally heading the exact same place today. His flight's We just are not on the same flight to get there. It was not my decision. But we both grew up in the same town and then met when we were in high school. And so now whenever we go home for the holidays, each of us just stays with like our own respective families. And I definitely see him, but we don't like necessarily do holidays together. Maybe that'll change eventually, but like right now it works for us because like I see his family, he sees my family, but then we each both get to like stay and spend time with our own families while we're there. And I mean, I live with the guy, so I see him all the time. We've spent the whole December Christmas season together so far. So in the hometown vlog that's coming up, like you'll definitely see Zach. He's there. We just don't stay together whenever each of us has our own families and homes that are right close to each other. I do think if I get ready, I'm just gonna head to the airport no matter how early it is. So that way, like if I'm standing for a long time waiting to check a bag, okay, no big deal. I can go to Terminal C in the Atlanta airport and get Bantam and Biddy for lunch and have all the time in the world. That'll be wonderful. And then if I get back to my terminal and have time, like I can start even editing this video, like just sit down and get to work without the stress of eventually having to get to the airport because I'll just already be there and be ready. So I'm finished getting ready. Hopefully I'll look a little more put together and better next time you see me. So this is my little airport outfit. I got my compression socks on. And then just some leggings and a comfy t-shirt. It is so cold outside and I know it's just gonna be even colder in Missouri, so I'm sure I'm gonna have to find some sort of sweatshirt or something to wear too. But I am 100% a comfy airport girl. I'm not really I'm not a dress up for the airport girl, which I think most of us are not. And then let me show you. I've got, okay, all of these coat hangers I was storing in my suitcase, so that's why they're out and about right now. But I'm bringing my base carry-on. I'm checking this duffel and then I'm bringing that as my personal item. And I'm just about ready to leave. So next time you see me, it's gonna be for the daily uploads for one whole week. So look forward to that if you'd like to. I think this is getting posted on Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas to all who celebrate. I hope that you are getting lots of peaceful time, getting some breaks from the real world hustle and bustle. And as always, I'm so thankful for you. I'm wishing you all the best things in your life coming your way. And I'll see you soon.